Have you ever wondered why some properties in Las Vegas are priced much higher than they seem like they're worth? What would you do if you could spot these properties before you make a costly mistake? When we talk about value of the home, we're talking about what the home would likely sell for given the current market conditions. Value is generally defined as what a buyer is willing to buy the home for and what a seller is willing to sell the home for. The market value is completely different than the appraised value. I have a lot of clients that say, hey, Leslie, should I get an appraisal? Or even tell me, hey, I have an appraisal at this amount, so I know that's what the home will sell for. And that's not necessarily true. An appraiser will give much more weight to sold comps and what has previously happened in the market. And I tell a lot of my clients, you can get 5 different appraisals and get 5 different values. It's a range. Values a range and it's subjective. So even appraisals may give somewhere within that range. Now it depends on the property. Sometimes I go into a home like in Sin City Anthem and there's 5 recent model matches that have sold. So I can pretty quickly tell you the range is small. Here's likely when the home will sell for. But when you're looking at older homes, then the range could be much wider because some of the homes have been remodeled, some of the homes are well maintained, and some of the homes need work. So you have that range as well on the property. So a home might seem overpriced because it's much higher than the others, but if it's been remodeled or updated or in better condition, then that can make a difference as well. I'll give you the perfect example. I had a home earlier this year where the appraisal came in $100,000 lower than our sales price. Of course, we were devastated, and I'm pretty proactive on appraisals. We usually meet the appraiser at the home and we provide them our list of upgrades and comps so that we don't have those issues. But of course, in this situation we did, and it was exactly what I'd mentioned earlier. It was an older home that had been remodeled and updated. So this appraiser looked at some of the recent sales that maybe weren't remodeled as much. We fought the appraisal and requested the lender to order an additional appraisal. So sure enough, that appraisal came in at our sales price, $100,000 difference between the 2 appraisals within a week time. It really can be subjective depending on what that appraiser is willing to take into consideration. As a real estate agent, I will look at the past solds, but I'll also take into consideration some of the available inventory to get a better idea of not just the history of the home, but really what's currently happening in the market. No appraiser can tell you exactly what your sales price is, and no real estate agent can either. So you really kind of want to look at what's happened in the market and what's available and kind of look at the overall big picture. So what affects a home value? Well, we all know the saying, location, location, location. And that's true in real estate. A home that has views or that's located in a nice community or in desirable areas like by great schools, that can impact values and bring a higher sales price for the property. Other things that can affect value, big picture that a seller has no control over, are supply and demand. Interest rates, even COVID had a big impact on our overall market, and specifically interest rates. Now that they went down, we saw demand pick up. As they've increased up, obviously we've seen demand slow down. Most of these items the seller has no control over, but I do talk to my seller clients about the things they can control, and the main thing they can control is condition. Newer homes or homes that have been well kept will command a higher price in the eyes of a buyer. So if the home's been updated or remodeled, that can make a difference from something that still needs work, or even if it's in good condition but outdated, that can impact values. Buyers will deduct 3 to 5 times what they perceive is needed in likely improvements and repairs. So if they walk in and the home's outdated or needs some remodeling, they might deduct $30,000 for $10,000 in needed improvements. So how do you know if the home's overpriced? When our market fluctuates week by week, or also if the home may be more remodeled and updated than others? Start by looking at days on the market. If the home's been sitting sitting on the market a long time, it could be one of two things. It could be that it's overpriced, and it could just be fluctuations in our market. So look at the days on the market of that home compared to other similar properties on the market. If the home's been on the market a while, but others in the community have sold, this will often tell me that the seller's expectations might be unrealistic. Also, look at other comparable homes on the market and what they're selling for. Is this home priced much higher than the other properties that are listed for sale, or is it in line as well? If it's in line, then it might just be an overall fluctuation in the market where we're seeing demand slow down and homes are sitting. Of course, when that happens, there's not a lot the seller can do other than reduce price as well. So it might be priced right compared to what sold last month, but if things are slowing down, then they may need to make a price adjustment. If you're new to my channel, hi there, Leslie Carver here, your expert guide in the world of real estate with a special focus on Henderson. I'm here to offer advice, insights, and updates when it comes to buying and selling real estate in Las Vegas and Henderson. Please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notified when a new video is released. Let's keep going. Common mistakes in evaluating a home. Our market fluctuates throughout the year. So if you're looking at solds from a month ago, we have seen where sometimes a month can make a big difference. I literally had talked to a client who wanted to list their home at a certain price, and I laughed thinking that was so last month, because things have really slowed down even in a month's time. So you really want to look at where the inventory is right now. If there's a lot of homes sitting on the market, then you want to look at possibly the home should be priced lower, needs a reduction. I'll talk to my clients when I'm listing a home and say, if there's a lot of homes sitting on the market, you want to be lower than those that are comparable and not sold. Of course, if there's no homes sitting on the market, then you can price higher than some of the past sales. So available inventory is really important to look at what's comparable and sitting on the market. This is why it's important to really look at available listings as much as the comparable sold listings. This way you have a better understanding of what's currently happening in the market and our overall big picture in Las Vegas. I can see things often before they're reported as statistics. When I see things slowing down, when I'm not getting showings, or when we're seeing homes sit a little longer, then you really have an idea sooner of recent trends in the market. So can you count on Zillow and similar websites that have Zestimates? Yes, start there, but do not rely on it. I've went and met with sellers many times where the Zestimate's much higher than I'm recommending listing the home. And that's like we talked about, when things are sitting a little longer and the market's changed, the Zestimate is on an uptrend, but things may have slowed down and those Zestimates may not be reflective. Also, it's very common when I list a property that suddenly the Zestimate goes to very similar price to what the home's listed. So if I'm listing the home $30,000 less than the Zestimate, suddenly the Zestimate's similar price to what we're listed at. They do look at that. So you can start by looking at the Zestimate, but don't rely on it. Look at days on the market. Look at other comparable properties. When I'm running a market summary for a client in listing in the home, I start in the neighborhood. So I'll look at comparable homes within the community. If there isn't anything, I'll go up to a mile surrounding the home and see similar size, similar age. I only compare 2 stories with 2 stories or 1 stories with 1 story. So you're really looking at a similar comparable available or sold. I also really start within sales that are within 6 months or newer. And if I can't find anything within that time frame, I will go out to a year, but nothing longer than a year. And those are really the same criteria that you're going to see an appraiser use. So that's what you want to take into consideration. This preliminary analysis can give you a much more solid idea of value and if the home is priced appropriately. When I meet with a seller or I'm working with a buyer, I prepare what's called a CMA. This is a comparable market analysis, and it has the information I just talked to you about, comparable homes that are listed for sale or sold. So when you're working with a real estate agent, we can provide that information to you. It's so much easier for us to kind trying to give you an idea because we really know what's a comparable neighborhood and a comparable home. This can help you have a really good idea on what makes sense to offer on a home or list a property. Also, if a home has a pool, it can make a big difference. When I'm looking at homes with and without a pool that are comparable, a home with a pool is going to sell for drastically more. Now, prior to COVID, I would see appraisers maybe give $25,000 to $50,000 for a nice pool on value adjustment for a home without one. But now, since COVID, even to build a basic pool is a minimum of $80,000. Plus, many of the pool contractors are busy and overwhelmed, so it could take months to build a pool. Appraisers are willing to give more value because of that. We'll see $50,000 on up for a nice pool. Added to value. And I know as a real estate agent, when I'm looking to list a property, I could easily add $100,000 or more in some neighborhoods for a home that has a pool versus one that does not. So keep that in mind when you're really looking at comparables. Pools do add a lot to value these days. Pop quiz. So when taking into consideration what a home should sell for, what's more important? The available listings or the recent sold properties? The first person that correctly answers in the comments gets a shout out from me. When considering the true value of a home, specifically in a complex market like Las Vegas, where we see values fluctuate month by month, it's crucial to talk to a real estate agent. We can provide you insights on trends and pricing strategy and what to watch out for. We can help you navigate and interpret the market data to ensure you make a smart decision. As a real estate agent, we can help you avoid pitfalls and make sure you're making a financial smart decision. For more videos about real estate in Las Vegas and Henderson, please make sure to check out one of my other videos on your screen. I appreciate you for watching and see you on the next one.